Last Saturday afternoon, I took a nap, as is my wont to do, in the white couch that I inherited from my late mother. The couch is really too short for a man of my size, but that has not yet stopped me curling up in it and breaking up the monotony of my waking life with an hour or so of dreams. A few minutes later, my cat, as is his wont, jumped up upon me. He is a pleasant creature, with a dauntless and curious cast of mind, finely cut features, and clear, observant eyes. His fur changes from gray along his back to white underneath, and is both long and thick, and bears, along with his features, witness to his bloodline. There are no mangy alley cats among his ancestors. Likewise, his skill and eagerness in the hunt confirms his kinship with the lords of the jungle and the savannah. As he kneaded on my chest and settled, as too is his wont, I spoke to him, as is decidedly not my wont, thusly. O cat and fur-clad friend, tell me, if you deem it is for me to know, of the twilight realm whence all cats first came. My cat, who in the meantime had curled up on my chest, paid close attention to my words, but when I said nothing more, he commenced purring. After some time, it seemed to me, that my cat spoke to me. He told me that he would tell me all things, which no human had known, since a woman died in October of the year which Christian men count as 1982. He would steer my dreams, for cats can do many things which men think impossible, and share the blood memory of his people with me. He showed me Saturn, as Saturn was before the doom came upon it, and told me that here was the homeland of all cats. He led me through the mighty and weird woodlands of Saturn, and we took down prey, now unequaled, and drank many-colored water from strange creeks. We met other cats, and greeted them courteously, and I saw what shape all cats had before the changes came upon them. But I swore a heavy oath to keep their primordial shape a secret. My cat told me that the blood memory of his people is so powerful that cats, skilled in the magic of their people, can visit old Saturn, and hunt in the wonderful forests and sun themselves on the slopes covered in purple grass, though that art is not much in favor. For the joy at revisiting their homeland, it is such that many cats are consumed with it, and quite forget their lives on earth. He told me that that is the cause of many cats disappearing without a trace. He showed me the grove wherein the 7 gods of the cats dwelt, but I only saw one, an immense horned cat whose fur changed from golden to blue and back. A shadow fell over my friend and guide when I asked him why there was only one god at the grove, and he asked me to be silent, promising that all would soon be revealed. He led me on to the place where all cats in primordial times held their folkmoots. 9 transparent stones stood there, stones unequaled on the earth, the moon, Saturn, and any other worlds that cat later came to know. And on these stones sat the 9 kings of the cats. During the folkmoots, and from these stones were judged such cats who had broken the 180 laws of cat, and deviated from Dharma. In this place, so my friend told me, happened that which would lead to the doom coming to Saturn, and the 2 changings of cats. For 13 warlocks once came to the folkmoot and sought an audience with the 9 kings of cats, and presented them with a way by which the might and fortune of cat could be manifold increased, and nothing in the whole cosmos could happen, was it not the will of Cat. And their words smelt of prey and sun-warmed purple grass, but also faintly of citrus. He who is now the king of all cats spoke, and said that the proposal of the 13 warlocks violated the first law of Cat, and was strongly adharmic. And the other kings were in agreement with him. But their hearts were unsteady, and each later sent secret messengers to summon the 13 warlocks. When the king of all cats learnt this, he went to the 7 gods of cats, and asked their aid in bringing the other kings back to the way of Dharma. But it so happened that the 13 warlocks had already spoken with the 7 gods of cats, and 6 of them were of the same mind as the 8 kings. Then the strange and color-shifting god of cats spoke to the other gods and the 8 kings, and declared to them that their wisdom had turned to madness. And then the king of all cats and the strange and dharmic god of cats left the grove wherein the 7 gods of cats had dwelt. The king and the god now held council, for there could be no luck in associating with cats who were openly adharmic, and they decided thusly: the king of all cats should seek out all such cats as still had wisdom and gather them. Meanwhile, the strange and clever god of cats should divine a way to lead them into exile. The king of all cats went forth and gathered all the dharmic cats. Meanwhile, the strange and crafty god of cats had called to him 3 smiths, and together they created furs for the dharmic cats, that they might survive a journey through the void between worlds. When the king of all cats and his following returned, they clad themselves in fur. That was the first changing of cats. Then the king of all cats sought out the 8 kings once more, and declared to them that he would lead all those cats who wished to follow him away and to the other worlds. The other kings were amazed when they saw the fur, but bade him stay and share in the power and glory which would soon be theirs. The king of all cats, however, said that no lasting power and no lasting glory would come to those who deviate from Dharma. And since they did not wish to return to Dharma, his wish was to avoid the doom which in time would become theirs. Thus they went their separate ways. My friend in cat now asked me to grip his tail firmly near the root and keep myself unshakably unafraid, for he would now show to me the greatest deed of all cat in the primordial times. Along with the strange and fearless god of cats, and the king of all cats, and countless other fur-clad cats, we jumped up from strange mountain tops, and to my astonishment, we kept on upwards, and the air became not, as I would have thought, thinner, and we broke through the atmosphere of Saturn and into the void. As we journeyed, my cat told me of that same journey in primordial times, how blind creatures, nameless and hungry, had stalked the host of cats, and how the clash of fangs and claws against tentacles would have echoed in the void if sound had been possible. Brave and warlike cats fell prey to the nameless ones, but in the end the cats sighted the moon. That, however, was not the end of their struggles, for on the moon they found a race of creatures who lived in secret passages beneath the surface and worshipped the 17-pointed star. These beings had no laws and were adharmic in all their doings. This was the cause of the war on the moon, and only after much suffering and great losses did the cat succeed in cleansing the moon and exterminating the burrowing creatures. I asked then my cat why I had no instant seen any of those creatures, even though I had both seen the wondrous rodents of Saturn and the unchanged cats. He answered that the moon creatures do not exist in the blood memory of cats, for their forms were too hideous to remember. The fur-clad cats were now masters of the moon, but doom had not yet come to Saturn, and the 6 gods and 8 kings of Saturn still enjoyed their full power, and they thought themselves fortunate. A few cats, brave and strong and full of homesickness, visited Saturn when the stars were right, and brought back tidings of what happened there to the moon. The king of all cats was proven right. For doom came to Saturn, and it became a desolate cloud of gases. And such cats as survived were changed, and became serpentine green and red-striped creatures that now haunt the gases of Saturn. And they hate the fur-clad cats, for they insist that they abandon them to their fate rather than warning them. And though the cats of Saturn have no fur, it does happen that they launch attacks on the moon, when the hate in them is hot enough to keep them warm through the void. Then there are battles on the moon, and fighting in the void, and thereafter the king of all cats grieves, for it is not dharma for cat to kill cat. Thereafter my friend told me how the cat saw the bounty of the earth from the moon, and made the short jump to here. He told me of the first age, and of the hollow men, and the war beyond the mountains. He told me of the other worlds which cats can visit unbeknownst to man, and of the creatures which cats can see, but it is well that man cannot. He told me that the king of all cats still holds court on the moon, and that he himself makes regular visits to the moon. And the strange low thuds I hear from my garden by moonlight is the sound of him making his return. All this and more he told me before I opened my eyes and saw my cat curled up on my chest, snoring gently. No man do they call me, my mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all very much for listening to What the Cat Told, a story that was written by Niels Ebbesen, one of my fans. I actually had done a cold reading of this story during one of my streams, and I really enjoyed it. Later, Niels approached me about doing a proper commissioned recording, and this is the result. So if you enjoyed the story, please like and comment, and let Niels know just how much you enjoyed it. If you have not already done so, I would ask that you subscribe, and if you wish to support me further, you can check out my Patreon, or you can donate via PayPal if you prefer. Thank you all very much again for listening. No Man out.